we live, Evan?
Yeah, that's what that means.
Oh, okay. Well, this week is
You don't need to start
graveyard.
talking yet. There's no one here.
That's okay. We're going to start anyway.
Okay.
People will join us when they're ready. I'm really excited about this week because not only have you been to Graveyard, I've been to Graveyard twice. I think the first time I went out there was 2007, I think.
You were there in 14?
Yes. I was there in 14. But 2007 was the first time. And hopefully again in June, if things go our way. But the first time I came out there, you had me fly into the Boise airport.
Yes.
And you came up with your mining truck, completely filthy. Said, hop on in. And I got into the truck, and it was like straight out to the mine. No stop and go. Do not collect $200. Just
Jake and I were out there
get out there.
already.
You were working there already, and there was no time to waste. And I remember I got there, and Jake had set up a welcome present for me. And he had taken this old abandoned mattress and placed it out on the top of a knoll there, and then took a stick and pounded it into the ground and made a little plaque on the top that said Veronica's headquarters. And I was welcome from the beginning.
You have to understand this is a wide open area. There are no trees. I mean, you had a beautiful view, but there was absolutely no privacy. It was just wide
Beautiful
open
view. Yeah.
country.
Well, before we get started on talking about Graveyard in detail, I would like to say that we have a number of different people with us tonight. My name is Veronica. This is Jean. We are the owners of the Gem Shop, and we also have our staff at home. What are you telling me, Evan? Hold on. We have Sherry, Corey, Annie, Stephanie, and Sandra all safe at home watching and helping with the live feed tonight. They will be answering your questions throughout the feed. Jean and I are going to start just talking about rocks. So if there is anything that you want us to answer right away, my son Isaac, who's in the office, will let me know. And Evan also has his eyes on the camera. Can you say hi, Evan?
Hi, Evan.
Thank you. Such a great it's actually National Bring Your Kids to Work Day. So we are following through. Good job. Good job bringing your kid to work
Yeah, we
today.
required them to do that.
Against their will, but good for them. So we also want to encourage you to make those comments in the comments below throughout the feed, or if you're just joining us tomorrow and watching this for fun, go ahead and comment. We'll even give you something to comment on if you don't want to comment on the rocks. So this is my little fun thing for today. Evan, can you get this? It says, you might be a rock hound if every single one of your rocks is special. Comment rock hound if you agree. And the reason why you want to spend the time to comment below is so that next time your name can be put in this box. So
Anyone who comments gets their name in the box.
So everyone who commented last week, your name is in this box. And I spoke to a few of our customers this week, and I just was so happy, and I'm really hoping that you pull one of their names. We'll see.
There's a reward for this.
Yeah, so the person, Gary Regency, he won last week. He got 20% off his purchase. Who gets 20% off their purchase today?
Susan Hall.
Can you show it to Evan so he can grab that? So, Susan, whatever, if you're here tonight, and Annie's going to go ahead and tag your name. If you're here tonight, you will get 20% off anything you decide to purchase.
Anything that we show that's for sale, I mean, you can pick that. If you get that, and you get 20% off.
Okay, well, we want all of our customers to have a fair shot at having something for fun. So, we have numbers 1 through 88, which is 88 items tonight in this box. Jean is going to pick a number. The first person to comment that number will get that item half off. the first person.
Oops, I got two.
I only have one. What number is it?
62.
Number 62 tonight, half off. You could comment that number now. You could comment that number when we're on number 60 or on 62 and actually see what you're buying. Or you
We
could
don't know
comment
what it is
tomorrow. If it's not sold and you comment 62 tomorrow, it's yours half off. So, Graveyard Points.
Yes.
You've mined there 9 different times.
Yes, I believe the gem shop is mined there 9 different times.
And can you let us know, well, where is Graveyard Point? Can we grab your maps?
First of all, the term Graveyard Point refers to a landmark that's on the end of a point. It's a Civil War graveyard. And it's right on the Idaho-Oregon border, about 50 miles west of Boise, Idaho. The agate area, where the Graveyard Point Plume Agate comes from, is about 1.5 miles to the southwest of that monument. So I got another map here, just like you have last couple of times. This shows the state of Idaho. And if Idaho, the Snake River runs all the way across Idaho in a kind of a loop across the bottom. And on the western edge of Idaho is Boise. That's the capital. And if you go straight west from Boise to the Idaho-Oregon border, there's 2 little towns here right on the river, Homedale and Marsing. Okay, I'm going to go to another map now. So here's a topo map. Here you can see, here's the Idaho-Oregon border. Up here is Homedale, a little town right here. And this map even shows where Graveyard Point is. It's this little point of this ridge. And the agate area is about 1.5 miles over in this area, just up in the mountains. So that's the area where the Graveyard Point Plume Agate is found. This whole area is extremely rich in agates and jaspers and is a very popular collecting area for rock hounding.
So what is the deposit like? What are these veins like that you find in the graveyard area?
The Graveyard Point Plume Agate deposit is a fractured basalt. It's almost brachiated. And wherever there is a crack in the basalt, there is agate. Most of these agate veins can be from 1 inch to 18 inches wide, and sometimes even bigger. Almost all the veins are hollow. We'll have different kinds of interiors, the angel wing interior, or crystallized. Like if you look at this one right here, you can see this one has a lot of druzy quartz crystals in the center. The area covers about 1.5. The area is about 1.5 miles southwest of the landmark. It covers about 2 square miles in size, I would say.
So this has been a really popular rock hounding site since the 1940s. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of rock collecting in the area?
It was a collecting area in the 1940s, and the first agate brought to market was brought there by Dudley Stewart. Dudley Stewart started Stewart's Rock Shop in Boise, Idaho. One of the oldest, if not the oldest, rock shop in the country. If you're ever in Boise or in the Boise area, you should stop in and see it. and Dudley was out there working the agate himself. I have a picture given to me by Brent Stewart, Dudley's grandson, showing Dudley working on a vein of agate on the side of a hill in the Graveyard Point area. And the agate vein at that time was still sticking up out of the ground, and he was there with a pick and shovel moving the dirt away from the agate vein. This photograph was taken in 1948.
And he was wearing a bow tie,
and
wasn't
he? Was wearing a bow tie.
He was probably had some driving gloves in his car. He was just a proper rock hound.
He was a proper rock hound. He was very instrumental in bringing the first agate out to market. Later, he filed a claim on the area, and in the early 1970s, Tom Caldwell dug the agate for them, and they actually went down, according to their records, 60 feet into the ground, following the agate veins down into the ground. They never stopped. To the best of my knowledge, no one has ever found the bottom of the agate deposit at Graveyard Point. They actually got deep enough that they actually hit water coming up out of the vein. It was kind of a square vein, agate all the way around on the sides, and they got deep enough that water was coming up out of the agate vein. This has never happened to any other mining operation out there that I know of.
So the gem shop has a claim out there now. It's called the Beverly Murray TGS claim. Can you talk about where our claim is in relationship to where Dudley Stewart dug and Tom Caldwell?
Yeah, like I said, there have been many claims over the years, and they have been abandoned and new ones formed. The gem shop filed what's called the Beverly Murray TGS claim in 1996, and it covers parts of two older claims. It covers part of the Stewart's claim and the deposit that they dug. It also covers, to the west, half of another claim where the rock called Regency Rose came from. This agate was a particular area in the Graveyard Point deposits where that Bill Tallman dug, and he decided to call it Regency Rose because of the variety of colors that he was finding. He found white plumes, yellow plumes, gold plumes, pink plumes, red plumes, all coming out of the same area. And because the Regency Rose has a variety of colors, that's why he named it that. However, when he started selling the material, he hit a fantastic pocket of pink plume, and somehow or other the pink color has become associated with the name Regency Rose. So if any of the agate from the Graveyard Point area has pink in it, it is quite often called Regency Rose plume agate.
Just referring to the multiple plume color.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the most common questions we get from our customers is, what is the difference between Graveyard, Regency Rose, Classic Graveyard? So you kind of go through that with some of the history, but it also has to do with the colors that you see in the rock. So if it's a brown or amber-colored background with colored plumes, then we're referring to the Regency Rose area of the claim. But if it has a bluer background with white and marcasite plumes, we're referring to the Classic Graveyard part of the claim, which is on the north end.
Correct. Yes. Yes. But since we're right there, when we dig up where the Regency Rose came from, we call all the agate that comes out of that particular pit Regency Rose.
So this has been a popular collecting area for quite some time. How does one now go out and collect? Do you have to have permission?
The I should say that there are lots of other things in this area. It is a popular collecting area because one, it's easy to get to. It's close to civilization. There's Sucker Creek is a mile or two to the west where there is a state campground. And there are many areas you can collect around Sucker Creek as well. The famous Saginite is found a few miles away. There are other Plume Agate claims as well. The what's called Feather Ridge Plume Agate is 4 or 5 miles to the south, which was discovered by my friend Jake and now owned by Philip Stevenson. That is a pink plume agate also. The Linda Marie plume is only a mile to the east, which is another plume agate that has a lot of green plume in it. So there, and the Snake River dendritic is on the east, what's called East Ridge, just a mile or two further east and a little north. So there's all kinds of agate deposits. If you have a chance to get out there or go rock collecting out there, I mean, you're bound to find something.
Okay, well, should we start?
Yeah.
Should we start our feed, Evan? Are you ready? So we're going to start with this one up here. Remember, Evan? So this is number one, or let me just go over how this works. You can start filming number one here. I want you to get close up on those crystals, okay, Evan? So this is how it works. This is the live portion of our talk tonight. If you are interested in any of the numbered items that you see here during the live feed, simply comment that number below, and one of the sales associates, Stephanie, Annie, Sandra, will be in contact with you within the next 24 hours regarding your purchase. And everything is going to ship by Monday, and orders over $50 are going to have free shipping. We're going to start here with item number one. It measures 17.5 inches tall, 7 inches across, and 9 inches towards the back. This is a beautiful piece of rough that we have cut the base on so it can sit nicely. One-of-a-kind piece with that crystal center. This piece is going for $375. I'm going to just turn it around here so you can see the whole thing. This is what we refer to as the classic graveyard, right, Gene?
Yes, this was dug up in our last operation, I think in 17. And it's from the north end of the claim. It's, matter of fact, it's a little bit north of where the Stewarts dug as well.
So we're going to continue over here, starting with some smaller pieces. Oh, Bryce. Item number 2 here, 0.15 pounds. This is a nice little cut end. It's polished nicely on the front. Has some red, white, and gold plume in there. $10, number 2. Number 3 has some very nice red plumes. This is from the Regency Rose area, correct, Jean?
Correct.
So this is part of the Beverly Marie claim, Regency Rose area. Number 3 is 10. So this might be a good opportunity, Jean, if you want to talk about plumes and what plumes are.
I'll wait till we get a little bit further into shows the angel wing. I should say that the name Beverly Marie is Jake's wife's name. A lot of miners like to name their claims. Sorry.
A lot of miners like to name their claims after their loved ones, right? So that's why we have a lot of person names and claim names. Number 5, $10. In fact, you named claims after both of your daughters, didn't you, Jean? Number 6 is $20. It is 2 inches by 3 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches. Number 6. Take the tags with them. You have to keep the tags with them, Jean. This is a thick slab. Number 7, $20. You can see a little bit of that angel wing coming out there in the corner. Beautiful gold plumes. Okay, can you close up on that, Evan? All right, number 8. You want to get over here, Evan? I think it's good, Evan. No? You don't want it?
I can't see the tags.
Oh. Number 8, $20. Nice polished surface. Has an open vug in the center. White plumes on the outside. And some marcasite. You can see that kind of reflecting in the light there.
Marcasite is a common occurrence in the graveyard point plume agate. You have a plume form, and then sometimes they'll get covered with marcasite, and it looks like black. So you can actually have plumes that have the marcasite on one side. They look like a shadow.
Coming up on number 10, 2 inches by 3 1/2 by 3/4 inch, 0.3 pounds, $20 on number 10. So all of these have come off of your mining operation, right, at the
Yes.
Beverly Marie? And are most of these from your last?
No, these are all mixed.
They're all mixed. Okay. Watch, Evan's going to film that for a second, Jean. Hold on. So plumes, can you tell us about plumes, please? Plumes are an inclusion in agate, right?
Yes, plume agate is like a category of included agate, and it's the word itself comes from plumage,
The light.
meaning that these inclusions have a feather-like appearance in the agate.
So you were mentioned other popular collecting stones in the area, and one of them is now known as Linda Marie. But the history behind that plume agate, wasn't it first called Christmas tree agate?
Yes, this was another plume agate discovered by Jake, and he called it Christmas tree agate because it had a lot of green plume. So it's very similar to the graveyard deposits, only a mile away, up on the ridge, up on what's called East Ridge. And it was called Christmas tree plume. And then when Philip obtained the claim, or put the claim on it, then it was, the name was changed to Linda Marie.
Oops. So we've got a few more plume agates here. Number 14. We'll go ahead and shoot that, Evan. Number 14 here is $20. 0.45 pounds. Nice cut and polished surface. Number 14, $20. Just text that number if you're interested. If you're just joining us, we are covering Graveyard Point plume agate today. We've got some very beautiful plumes in specimens, and we're going to cover some angel wing in a little bit.
Number 15 here is 30. Nice blue in the background there with some white, nice white plumes. Number 16. Look at the length of that plume. Isn't that unique to have a plume longer than an inch?
Yes, I mean that's
Most plumes aren't that long.
most plumes are not. I should maybe say that the graveyard point plumes have a kind of shape to them. They're kind of flat and usually tilted. Now this allows those of you who are cutters or cabochon cutters to control somewhat your look of the plumes if you cut them in a certain direction. If you cut them with the plume, you get broad shaped plumes, like a full-blown tree. Or if you cut across them, you get a very thin plume. And in some cases where they're tilted, you can actually get them, you can control the curve.
So this piece has a beautiful pink plume on the side. It has some gold plumes too. Number 18 is 35. Number 19, 0.35 pounds, $30. If you're interested, just simply text that number in the feed. Beautiful white plume on the end. These remind me of, like, who's the 1960s artist who has the O'Keeffe, is it? The abstract flower art. Who's the artist, Jane? Do you remember? No, you have an art degree. All right, come on over. Number 21, one of my favorites today. I just like the way that the plumes are going into the angel wing kind of open center. That's so common in these veins. $30, number 21. Number 20, 0.45 pounds. This is a thick slab, cut about a ½ inch thick. $30. Such dramatic patterns. And some of you may have seen this one already on Facebook this week. I did shoot a picture of that in our backyard. 22 is $40.
This is a piece that's like the classic or the older material. You can see the black halos, which is a marcasite coating that occurred on the plume.
Someone said that looked like jumping dolphins. Number 22 is 40. All right. Evan's going to shoot that really quick, Jean. Number 23. We have just a little something for everyone today. All right. Number 24, some dramatic coloring going on in this one. It's all the colored bursts of plumes, the white, the yellow, the pink, with that blue background. Definitely from that Regency Rose area. Number 23 is $45. Number 24, $45. This is a bigger piece, 1.15 pounds.
In our minds, in the background, agate color. Quite often the material that first came out was rather clear or light blue, but we have gotten fairly deep into where the Regency Rose comes from, and the agate is getting darker. It's a dark, some of it's like a burgundy colored background. And a few of these pieces are
Go ahead and point.
show some of that darkness.
All right, come on over here, Evan. Getting some bigger pieces going here. Number 26 is $65. Another beautiful blue. This one weighs 0.8 pounds. $65 on number 26. Number 27, $65. Weighs 1.15 pounds, 2 by 6.5 by 2 inches. Beautiful white plumes just reaching into each other there on the sides. So this piece shows when that vein is at a connection, right, in the opening of the center with the angel wing.
Talk about angel.
You can try, yeah. 75 on number 28.
Like I said earlier, most of these veins are hollow, and the centers can be extremely, have a lot of formation of the plume formation, which is somehow called angel wing. I don't know where the term angel wing actually came from, but let me show you a very exceptional piece. This is a piece from the center of one of those veins, and you can see the chalcedony formed in these crazy little things that somehow got named angel wing. They look extremely delicate, but are actually
Here.
pretty solid because they're pure agate. And it is exciting being a miner, mining along, and then having one of these cavities show up that is filled with the angel wing formation.
Moving on here to number 29, $65, sits up nicely. Has some of that angel wing formation with also a polished surface. You can see where that surface is if I reflect it like that. Number 29, $65. Number 30. This reached one of my favorites this week too. I just like the lighter colors in here. The yellow and blue and that really faint agate banding in the center. This one does have a cut base, so it stands up nicely. $45 on 30. And number 31, 10 inches across, 4 3/4 by 1/2 inch, 1.5 pounds. It is a thick slab. Beautiful, big piece. $90 on 31. I don't see very many other agates, Jean, that form in such big veins.
So we have on our website documentation of our mining operations. And in these documentations, there are a lot of pictures, and you can see some of these larger cavities that we've run into while mining. I don't know if Veronica's going to tell you about the cave or not, but we, on one of our mining operations, we actually hit a vug or hollow cavity that was big enough to get inside. And that gives you an idea of how big the veins can actually get there.
All right, Evan. Do you want to move down there for a sec? So we've got a few more. Number 34 is next. Ooh, love this one. All right, let's go, Evan. So where is this one from? Because it doesn't look, it looks like the classic graveyard, but it looks like old stock. Is this actually, do you remember digging this rock?
I think that was a new one when you were digging on the north end of the claim, but around the corner closer to where Stewart's dug.
Such beautiful druzy quartz on top of those white plumes that are sticking out there. And you get both effects, the angel wing and the plume in this piece. Number 34, 125. My birthday is July 9th, if anyone wants to buy this one for me. Just kidding.
Should make a comment about this one.
Okay, Evan, you want to get on that one for a minute?
This one was one that this vein was one that we found this last time we were there in 17, 3 years ago or so. And you see all the pink color in the bottom of this, but this was not where the pink plume was known to be. This was on the north end of the claim in a vein that dipped down into the arroyo, and all of a sudden we came upon an area that had a lot of pink in it. So the pink can show up in almost anywhere.
Number 35 is a huge slab, 15 and a half inches across, 8 inches tall, half-inch thick, 3.7 pounds, 175. So I don't even know if I can get much closer than this. Maybe you can just film it on the black. It probably looks best there.
That reminds me of large ocean waves.
Some of the
Surf.
patterns, even if you don't see a very specific plume, are very still enjoyable. More of art pieces than anything. That's number 35. What am I looking for? 36.
Go ahead, Jean. Can you grab that one?
Can I tell a story about finding
Go
the
ahead.
cave?
Of course you can. I don't know why you're asking me for my permission.
Jake and I were in the bottom of the hole. We had a hole dug maybe 15 feet into the ground, and there was agate veins everywhere, and we were using our chisels and hammers. It was late in the day, and I'm working on one side, and Jake is working on the other side, and all of a sudden, Jake lets out a big holler. And I think, oh my God, either if he found something really good, or he hurt himself, hit his thumb with his hammer or something. And then he said, well, Gene, come over here, you got to see this. Now, only somebody who's dug rock can appreciate this, but if you're down in the bottom of a hole, digging in solid rock, chiseling away, and all of a sudden the rock falls away from you, it's like, oh, that can't happen. But he was chiseling away, and the rock that he was working on fell into a hole, and there was a big cavity there. It was the discovery of the cave itself. He looked inside and he couldn't see the back of it. And I thought, well, my goodness, this is a big vug. Because it was late in the day, there was very little light, so we went up to camp, got a flashlight, came back, shined the flashlight in there, and we could not believe it looked like it was 3 or 4 feet across, and we could not see the bottom of it. That was the initial discovery. Top, it went down about 10 feet and was about well, maybe 10 or 15 feet long before it made a right angle and went in the other direction.
This is a beautiful solid piece coming up here on number 39, $135. This piece weighs almost 4.5 pounds. Okay, can you take those, please? Here you go. You just stay right there, Evan. Here, watch about that cord, you're going to trip. Here's number 40, $125 on this piece. I love how the color in the plumes here, the gold and the pink, kind of continue out onto the angel wing that you see above. There's gold covered and pink covered angel wing on the top. This piece weighs 5.35 pounds. Again, it's number 40, $125. The whole top is angel wing there. It sure is probably a lot of fun to pull these out of the ground. Right, Jean?
Blast.
Number 41, $150. Very large piece here, measures 9.5 by 4.25 by 1 3/8. Weighs 5.2 pounds. This is a classic piece of graveyard. Classic graveyard. Big, thick vein, that bluish background with the gold plumes. We've got one more piece of big classic here. Can you take that one, please? This one is number 42. It measures 13 inches across, 6 inches by 3 inches deep, 12.95 pounds. Huge. Go ahead and say something. I know you want to. $375.
Another reason why this is such a popular collecting area, besides the abundance of the agate, is that those people who dig agates found it fairly easy to dig here. Because most of the veins were hollow, if you found a vein, you could break the piece of the agate off into the hollow cavity and pull it out. It made it much easier to dig than if you had a very solid agate all the way across.
So we're going to start on our angel wing portion of tonight. Go ahead.
Number 43 is our first piece of angel wing. I have tricks to how these should be packaged for shipping, so don't worry. If it breaks, send me a picture and I'll refund you. A beautiful piece of formation there. This all happens from the open centers of the veins.
There are some marvelous pictures on our website, on our mining and rock location page of each of our mining operations that show these vugs and show pieces of angel wing in place.
Number 42, Jean, is that here? Someone asked a question. $375 on number 42. So here is number 45. This is $20. Another piece of angel wing, some really cool formations, how they turn and twist. Okay. Do you want to shoot those, Evan, quick? And then we'll move on to some more pieces of angel wing here. So is it just different minerals that are making the color of the angel wing different? Do you know what types of mineral deposits are incorporated with the agate formation that change the colors?
Other than the marcasite, I don't know. The marcasite is an iron-based mineral. It gives you the probably the red and the
Turn the
pink
light
color.
off. Another piece of angel wing has some snowy white plumes. Number 46, $20. Number 47, $20. Some beautiful angel wing. Number 48. So if you're just joining us, this is the Gem Shop. We are featuring Graveyard this week. If you are interested in any of the pieces that you see, simply text the number below. All right, number 49. These measurements on these are estimates, by the way. Kind of how they maximize measurements, I guess. Maximum measurements. A free-flowing plume on this one. Number 49, $20. Do you want to say something, Jean?
Those people who are interested in agate formation, I've always thought that Graveyard Point Plume Agate would be a good thing to study. You can see how obviously gravity does affect the formation of the chalcedony and how the plumes flow downward. And this is obvious when you open up a vein that's full of angel wing or hollow spots. You can see how they were affected. Their formation was affected by the gravity.
Can you grab those, Jean?
So obviously, the agate formation occurs from the top down.
I'm having a hard time keeping up here, Evan. Can you help, please? Oh, this one's shedding. This is such a cool piece because it has these pseudomorphic crystal structures that were in here. Or is this just the basalt that broke up and the agate formed around it?
Yes.
It's the pseudomorph basalt. It's shedding like crazy. This one has some really nice color inside. This one is $25. Large piece for $25. Number 51. Number 52. Variation of color. That's got to be iron staining on there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And this one has a cool bridge. $52, $35. Some nice tall stalactites there. All right, you want to move down there, Evan? On 52 for a second. Hold on, Jean. All right, 53. Come on over, Evan. $53 is $35. This piece could be cut into cabs if you're a cabber. Has some nice agate on the outside. Has some beautiful angel wing formations in the center. Number 54, $25. This one weighs 1.7 pounds. Really cool, big angel wing formations on that one. 54 is 25. You want to get those, Evan? Good. Oh, I skipped one. All right. We skipped or no, it's next. 55. Go ahead. Number 55 is $20. I remember you telling me about when you dug this one up, because it has some really odd crystal-like formations that are of a different crystal structure. It's trigonic, isn't it? I said that wrong.
I don't know. On the far eastern side of the Regency Rose pit, there is some very strange formations that actually look. I don't know if they're aragonite replacements or pseudomorphs or what, but there are some other strange things that are occurring there.
Number 56 is just covered with quartz druzy. That one is 45 on 56. All right, one more piece of angel wing tonight. I'm going to show this one real quick, and then you can... This is number 58. This is a very nice collectible piece of angel wing.
You can just see how it flows. It flowed down.
It's number 58, $75. Okay. Number 59. Hey, what was that magic number we pulled earlier?
62.
62?
Someone already said it though.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me.
Why didn't I? Should.
Oh, yes, you should always tell me everything. Everything forever. Here we go. The Gem Shop designed a line of jewelry a while ago, and we put some of this Plume Agate in it because it was unique to us. We designed these bales and the shapes of the stones. All of these pieces of jewelry tonight are going to be $24.99, except for that number that was pulled out of the box. It's going to be half off. Would you say 63?
62.
Oh, look, it's there. That lucky winner, number 62. You're going to get that for $12.50 tonight. Number 63. Remember, guys, Mother's Day's coming up. These all have sterling silver bales. I'm actually just saying that for your sake. Just kidding. Mother's Day, that very important day. So those are some of the escape pieces that we have. We have plenty more on our website as well as in our store. Eventually, we'll have those doors open, I hope. You want to say something, Jean? And tell.
I would like to say something about collecting up there.
Okay. Could you move that, please?
this is such a popular collecting area for quite a number of reasons. And and I thought I would just go over for everybody's consideration the legal aspect of rock hounding, claims, and your right to be there. Can you bring it on?
Okay. Live show feed improvise. Gene has something important to say. Listen up.
People often have questions when they're out rock collecting. Well, what do I do if I get on somebody else's claim? And I thought I would go over what I understand is the legal situation regarding this. First of all, citizens of the United States have a statutory right to go onto public land and look for rocks. This is something granted to you by the Congress of the United States directly to its citizens. It's part of the mining law, and under this right, no one can deny you access to the public land. So, for example, the local sheriff can't say you can't go there. Neither can a BLM official, a Forest Service official, or any government entity, because the right is granted to you directly from the Congress of the United States. So on any public land, any U.S. citizen has a right to go and look for rocks. If a person files a claim on the land, then the rights to the minerals are granted to the claimant. This is for a lode claim. However, the surface rights are not. The surface still belongs to you. The claim owner has a right to the surface use as long as he is there or doing something with the claim. If he does not, you have a right to be there yourself. So if you're walking along out in the wilderness somewhere and you're on a claim, you have a legal right to be there to look for rocks. You have the right to pick up a rock with your bare hands, but you do not have a right to dig a rock. So that's kind of where the law sits. So I just wanted to do that. The gem shop allows collecting on its claims. Oops, they want to go on.
If you are interested in collecting on our claim, you can email us saying, "Hey, I'm interested, and how do I go about doing that?" We will send you a form to fill out, basically with just your name and the dates that you plan on being there, and you can access permission that way. mail@thegemshop.com is the email address for that. Number 73, I threw this in here because we have some of the rough material to show you tonight. This is a piece of peanut wood. Peanut wood is a type of petrified wood from Australia. It has all these really cool bore holes that were made with worms or bugs at the time before it got petrified. Number 73, 145, 3.2 pounds. And I threw this in here. I got to some customer requests this week. So here you go, Dan the man. This is a beautiful Christine Marie pear, multiple colored eggs with the green, tan, and brown. Number 74, $400 for the pair. It's been sitting on Jean's desk for years. Number 75 is a piece of Bruno jasper.
Slab.
It's not quite a slab. It's a cut end, I think. That one is 50. Number 75, 50. Another customer request. We had a request earlier for some polyhedroids. I've got 4 pieces here. Number 76 is a pair. Number 77. Nice druzy center. Polyhedroid pair, number or $35 on number 77. Number 78 is 24.
If you have any requests or want to see something, make sure you comment, or you can even ask Agatha if you want. It shows up on Facebook every once in a while.
Number 79, $20. It's a small little polyhedroid. Okay, Evan, can you grab the camera here? We're going to cover a few more items and then go to our rough real quick. I just wanted to touch base with those kids staying at home. We have you covered. We've got some activities here for you. Our Earthly Elements line, we manufacture this line with Channelcraft. There's a genuine fossil collection and an essential rock and mineral collection. Both of these kits come with 6 individual pieces in them, along with a magnifying glass and a 16-page color booklet that has all sorts of activities and learning things to do with the samples of rocks and minerals inside. If you're interested in one of those, simply comment 69 or 70 in the feed and we will get back to you. 2 books. This author, Ted, I met him in person in Tennessee, and he has some fantastic artistic drawings in these books, and he's actually scientifically accurate with his storytelling. And so these are just unique kind of books, different from the other dinosaur books out there. A lot of fun for kids. Number 68 is an Agate's 1 book. It is slightly torn plastic wrapping. Number 68 is Agate's 1. It is the 2014 edition, so it is the reprint, not the original. $135 for Agate's 1, out of print. Moving on to our rough rock. Jane, come talk to us about how we differentiate between the different types of graveyard that we sell.
Well, this bin is just the small pieces. They're like, say, 1 pound and under.
So if you have a trim saw, that's a perfect size.
Yeah, our 10-inch saw, it's smaller. It's wonderful for that.
Next bin, no specific order here. We have that rough peanut wood from Australia. We got a new batch of this in Tucson this year. Goes for $25 a pound, number 83. Has those bore holes, and we just threw that in there because it's a nice cutting material. Moving back onto graveyard, here's the classic. Here's the classic and what you can expect when you order this material. It goes for $6 a pound, number 81. Has that classic blue and clear background with white plumes, some angel wing on the top.
Some marcasite as well.
And this is Regency Rose. This is the larger of the first one that you saw. And it goes for $10 a pound, number 82. Also has some of that angel wing bugs in the center, but often has some beautiful plumes too. And those multiple colored plumes are going to be found in this material. I've heard you say that you took a rock that looked unsuspecting and started slicing and then ran into some pink plumes later.
Yes.
So pink plumes can form anywhere in the vein, not just specific if you see it on the outside.
Yeah, it's very difficult to identify where the pink plumes are going to be. They just sort of pop up.
So on to our tumbling material, and I just thought I'd cover the 4 different mixes that we offer our customers. One of the most frustrating things is to buy a tumbling mix and then have to separate it out because there's different hardnesses in the mix. We imported these directly from their relative countries in pre-made mixes that have the same hardness. So we have an agate and jasper mix that can be tumbled all together. We have a feldspar mix, which has sunstone, iolite, rainbow moonstone, and regular moonstone in it. We have an aventurine mix, which has red, yellow, and green aventurine all together. And the quartz mix, my favorite, has all 5 of the quartz families: citrine, clear quartz, rose quartz, amethyst, smoky quartz. Thank you. So it's story time. It's story time with Jean, the miner. What are you going to tell us today?
Well, first of all, let me answer a question that we received. There is an extensive report on our website about the cave that we discovered. It was there's lots of stories regarding the cave, and it was completely lined with about agate plates that were about 4 inches thick, with 2 inches of agate and 2 inches of kind of a foamy plume on the outside. The plume was not good, and the agate in the cave was not very good either. But the agate on the edge of the cave, or where it went off into other veins, was very good. But it was amazing to find a vug that you could actually get into.
I forgot about this.
All right.
We have several copies found by Stephanie in the attic of the Mining Morrisonite book.
You
So
know, you just keep
we had
looking
some
for those
requests
boxes.
for that. If you want a copy of this book that has all of Jean's mining stories in it, then text number 88.
Okay, this is another story from that book. And it occurred in the early portion of my mining Morrisonite jasper. Okay, so I mined it for 11 years, and this was the first or second year. When I first started there, the first project was to build a road down to the Christine Marie, because there was no access. There was a dozer cut, but it was not a passable road. So what had to be done was to build a road down to the Christine Marie, down this very steep canyon. So, and I had purchased a D4 dozer to do this, and I was working on that road. I was very disappointed in myself and how fast I was going. When I first came out, I thought, well, my gosh, build that road, I'll get down there and get some rock. Well, 2 weeks into the operation, and I was down 4 or 5 switchbacks and nowhere near the claim. So I was working hard on a section of road, trying to improve the slope of the road because it was so steep. On this particular switchback, there was some room between the end of the road and the cliff, and I could actually lessen the steepness of the road by making the road a little longer. So I was working on that area and was running into all these large rocks. And I actually went over a big rock to try to get at another one, and that rock just happened to be the right size, that it was just big enough to fit between the tracks of the dozer. Then because of that, the dozer came down onto the rock, cracked the oil pan, and all the oil leaked out. I noticed that on the gauges, so I jumped off the machine, went down there and looked. There was oil everywhere. I got up, shut the machine off. So here's my machine with the broken oil pan sitting on top of a big rock in a place where I just couldn't do anything. So I was really discouraged. I thought that I really couldn't do anymore. I was depressed. I was ready to quit. So I walked up the hill to see Jake, he was mining above there, and told cracked and there was no oil in it, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so he said, well, let's go look at it. So he and I walked over to the cliff where you could look down the canyon to see where the machine was stuck. And we stood there and looked at it for a while in silence. And then he said to me, he said, well, you could go to the Boise airport and rent their helicopter and bring it out here and lift the machine up here where you could work on it. That would get you unstuck. And I didn't say anything. And after a little while, he said, well, you know, maybe that helicopter isn't big enough to move that machine. But you know that Navy or Army air base in Nevada, where they bring those jets up here and fly around and practice, you know, I bet they got a big helicopter, and they could come here and lift up that machine and put it where you could work on it. So I standing there trying to absorb what he's telling me. And after a while, I didn't say anything. I went and got a shovel and some tools, walked back down to the machine, dug a hole under the machine, got the oil pan off, brought it up to camp, JB welded it together. The next day went back down, put it back on, put oil in the machine, and got the machine running and off the rock and continued on working. What Jake did was tell me the most ridiculous, expensive, impractical, unrealistic solution he could think of. And said it to me as if it were a viable option. He did this without sarcasm, but made me think of what was actually possible. To this day, if I have a big problem, I try to think of the most ridiculous solution possible. This oftentimes is quite funny, but it also clarifies what can actually be done. That's the story.
Thinking creatively outside of the box, right?
Jake,
when things don't go your way.
Jake always has multiple solutions to any mining problem.
All right, we're going to finish tonight's feed on a preview for tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Thursday. Next Thursday, we are going to be covering picture jaspers, what they are. We'll talk about many different types of picture jasper, where they come from, what's not a picture jasper. So join us. Thank you, guys.